Hello, it's Dave again. I've got a game I'd like to share with you. This will be an English opening. The ECO code is A25. This game is played at playchess.com and the time is 10 minutes plus 0 added to it. Our themes will be open file, tempos, and control the line squares. So let's get started. I'm playing white, and first move is C4, E5, G3, knight to F6, bishop to G2, bishop taking control of the white squares on the long diagonal, knight to C6, knight to C3, and the knight adds to the control of the light squares, bishop to B4, and black plays this kind of in a Nimzo Indian type theme, where he wants to possibly exchange this knight, take the knight with his bishop and double my pawns. And since my knight is not pinned to my king, I played knight to D5. Black wants to keep his bishop, so he plays bishop to C5, D3, taking more control of the light squares, H6, and black wants to prevent me from playing my bishop to G5, exchanging off the F6 knight, which also controls these light squares here. Next move is A3, preparing to play on the queen side. A5, black wants to prevent the B4 move. Played E3, black castles, and now I played knight to E2 with the possible idea of playing either D4 or playing F4 later in the game. Black played rook to E8. I've castled. Bishop to F8 was the next move played. I wasn't quite sure what black had in mind here. I thought what he had was going to do is play his D pawn up, maybe move the knight to here, and then push on the king side, maybe bringing the bishop to G7 eventually. But like I said, I wasn't sure what he had in mind, but that's the move he played. Next move I played was rook to E1. He plays D6, protecting E pawn like I thought he might. And I played bishop to D2, preparing to play on the queen side with my pawns. He plays bishop to E6, threatening my D5 knight. Played knight at E to C3 with the idea that if he exchanged on D5, I would retake with my other knight. And he did exactly that. He took bishop takes D5, and then I took knight takes D5. And then he played knight to D7. I really thought he would exchange on D5, but he didn't. I next played bishop to C3, which really wasn't the best move. The best move for white, I should have just continued. Let me go back here. I should have just played the move B4 with the idea of playing on the queen side like I had when I developed my bishop to D2. He would have taken, I would have retaken, swapping rooks, and I would have taken control of the A file. But I didn't. I played the move 15, bishop to C3. He next played knight to B6, and then I played knight takes B6, C takes B6, doubling his pawns. I played bishop to D5, rook to B8, and now I played queen to F3, where if I exchanged here on C6, I would be able to win a pawn. He played queen to D7, protecting the knight, and I played rook at A to B1. Now this is I believe is a mistake, and the reason I say it is because as the game progresses, you'll see I should have played my rook from E to B1. And as the game progresses, I think it'll be quite clear why this would have been the better move. But in the game, I played rook at A to B1 because I was planning on pushing my B pawn and then taking with my rook and putting pressure on the doubled B6 pawn. The next move in the game was knight to D8. I played B4. He takes A takes B4. And instead of taking with my bishop or rook, I decided to take with my pawn because I wanted to take control of the A file. I think I seen that would have been the better move, or the better chances to improve my game. So I took A takes B4, and then he played knight at E to C6, and now I played rook to A1. Now if I would have played my rook from E to B1 instead, it would be, after he played knight at E to E6, I would have already could have played, if my rook would have been here, I could already had my rook at A7. So by playing the wrong rook to the wrong file, I lost a tempo or a move, and in fact black actually gains an extra move by doing so. If I would have played it correctly, I would have had the extra move. But instead I did not play it correctly, and hopefully watching this video you might learn from my mistake. Anyways, the game, like I said, after A takes B4, knight to E6, the next move was rook to A1, and then knight to G5, attacking my queen. I dropped it back to G2 because I wanted to keep control of this long diagonal on the white squares attacking the B7 pawn. Black played king to H8, and now I played rook to A7. Again, going back to that rook move, if I wanted to have if I would move the correct rook, I would already have this rook could already be here. So you can see where by not playing the correct move, I've actually just don't have the, well, I just lost the move. Anyway, maybe I'm getting too complicated here. Anyway, the next move is black played E4, and at this point black's kind of commits suicide here. He just starts making some very bad moves, and the game's going to end fairly quickly here. But you can see that I have a lot of pressure on that long diagonal. The B7 pawn is eventually going to fall. There's not a whole lot that he can do to prevent me from either winning that pawn. And besides that, he still has the doubled B pawns, which I could all gang up on with this bishop. So back to the game, he plays E4, hoping to break up this battery of my queen and bishop. And I played D takes E4, and now he really just falls apart. Not sure exactly what he had in mind here, but anyway, he played rook takes E4, which just gives me the rook. I retake with my bishop. He takes with his knight, and I take queen takes E4. And I think what happens a lot of times is once you get into a really bad situation and the clock is ticking, you start making bad moves, and that's why it's so important to make the best moves possible, forcing your opponent to use up his time and forcing him to make errors where you can take advantage of them and win the game. His next move was queen to C6, and being up a rook, I was more than glad to exchange queens. He retakes with his pawn, and now I take rook takes F7. And now the game just pretty well winds down where I just kind of finish everything off here. He plays D5, C takes D5, C takes D5, B5, and I wanted to get the bishop off of the the pawn off the dark square so his bishop would not be able to attack it. And also I wanted to be able to move my bishop and move my rook to either the A or the C file. He plays rook to C8, attacking the bishop. I played bishop to D4, plays king to G8, attacking the rook, and now I played rook to B7, attacking his B6 pawn. He plays bishop to C5, protecting it, and now I played rook to C1, attacking the bishop, and he plays king to F8, and now I played bishop to C5. And no matter whether if he takes with the rook, I exchange with my rook, and I'll be able to push the B pawn up to queen it. If he takes with the pawn, the same thing. Just, I would just go ahead and push here, move this rook behind it, move the rook over, push the pawn forward, and I would queen the pawn to win the game. But anyway, after I played bishop takes C5, my opponent resigned. Well, that's the end of the game. I hope you enjoyed it. Just kind of going over the ideas here. I controlled the light squares. I lost a tempo by moving the wrong rook, and then I took advantage of that open file that I did create and brought my rooks up and added to the pressure on the b7. And I think you'll see that many times you'll see either the A file or the H file being opened, and that rook can come down and put pressure on either that b7 pawn against black, or maybe the g2 pawn, depending on the opening and stuff like that, against white. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and take care, and until next time.